All right, bang, bang. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. It's July 19th. It's Monday. It's Snake Draft Monday. Two guests today. Dante's in for Carl. And on Zoom, you just heard him. We have Mr. Portnoy joining us in the official Grievances, Complaints, Peeves draft. I waited for you for this. You were the only option.
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
That's nice to know I was the only option. I could take that a lot of ways.
I think you're known as the Rembrandt of complaints. That's why we had to wait for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very well. I don't know that Rembrandt was a big complaint of it.
All right.
I didn't know him. I am old, but I didn't know him personally.
All right. So here's the gist here, Mr. Portnoy. There's the four of us, Eddie, White Sox, Dave, Chief, and Dante, and you. Everybody gets 5 picks, and we go. It's like an order. You go in order. You say your pick, you explain it a little bit, and then we talk about the pick a little bit, okay? Does that make sense?
And then when I listen to the other folks, I got to rate them or something?
Yeah, you can just give your input. Be like, I like that complaint, or no, I'm fine with that kind of thing, okay?
All right. I'm kind of prejudiced to what I say, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Well, we all are.
Yeah.
Well, that's human nature.
Definitely
You'll fit right in then.
Definitely. Before we go on, though, we got to say no one won last week because there was no poll, no graphic, executive decision. It is what it is. So just addressing that. Let's do the order, right? Let's just hop right into it.
Let's hop right in.
All right. So Mr. Portnoy, our social media guy, Danny here, he has number 1 through 5 behind his back. What number is it?
You're talking to me?
Yeah. You got to guess a number. You got to
guess a number 1 through 5.
Oh, I see. Okay. 3.
3. It's number 3. Okay, so now you decide where you want in the draft order. Do you want the first pick, the second pick, the third pick, the fourth, or the fifth?
And of course, I want the first pick.
Okay,
but hold on.
It is a snake draft, so you'll be picking first, and then you won't pick again until 10. Is that fine with you?
So if you pick fifth, you get back-to-back picks.
Absolutely not.
All right.
You know something? This is going to be a debacle. I really don't understand what the hell we're doing here. But I need some guidance. Somebody got to help me.
Well, I'm trying to help you.
He's never done a draft before?
No,
if you
time.
pick first,
I
it
feel
goes.
honored.
I don't know what this is.
But if you decide to pick fifth, you'll get the 6th pick too. So you get back-to-back picks, so it evens out the playing field.
Right.
I'll pick 5th.
5th.
Oh, okay. Thanks, 5th.
Okay.
All right, Dante, 1 through 4.
2.
Chief.
1. I'll take the 3rd spot.
White Sox Dave, 1 through 3.
2.
1. I'll take the 4th spot. 1 or 2, Dante.
2. What's available?
1
or 2.
I go 2.
Yeah, no one wants the first one because it's a tough one to make first.
I have the top grievance, but I'm not going to use it in the one slot. I might wait it out, actually. Get some value for it.
All right. So here's the order. White Sox Dave, Dante, Chief, Eddie, Mr. Portnoy. Before we get underway here, though, I do want to tell you that today's draft is brought to you by Roman. This week is Roman. White Sox Dave, most people have tried different ways to last longer in bed. You don't do that anymore, right?
No, I don't need to. Yeah, I just got those Roman swipes all handy-dandy in my pocket.
How does it work? You just take them out?
Yeah, it just fits right in there, right behind all the business cards you accrue over time. I like to, wine and dine a lot of upscale, high-end quality people that wouldn't be in this room right now. So I do have a lot of business cards in the Roman swipe. Just slides right in behind it.
There you go. It's a clinically proven way to last longer in bed. They're effective, easy to use, and they're fast-acting, but they don't require a prescription. Roman can ship swipes to a discreet, unmarked packaging, and each swipe packet is small enough to hide in your wallet for whenever you need it. They're super easy to use. Just take the swipe out of the packet, swipe it on, let it dry. You're good to go. That's it. To get your hands on these, all you got to do is go to GetRoman.com/walk. And you get your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. That's GetRoman.com/walk. Go get some Roman swipes. They're great. Big supporter of the show. Or I believe they're in Walmart, too. I know they're in Walmart, so go get them in Walmart. Okay.
Over the counter.
Over the counter. There you go. Last longer in bed. All right. White Sox Day.
Something funny over there?
I can imagine going into Walmart and saying to somebody, I want to last longer in bed.
You don't need to. It's discreet packaging. You can just go get it off the shelf.
What's that?
It's discreet
What?
packaging. Then they put it through the scanner and you buy it, and nobody
Yeah,
even
but what
knows
if you
you
go
bought
up to the counter and you say to somebody, I'd like something to help me last longer in bed. And you say that to the old guy at the greeter at the Walmart.
it. I mean,
Well, he's got to get with.
He's probably using it too.
Yeah. Everybody's using the swipes.
do you ever use a Roman swipe, Mr. Portnoy?
Keep going.
All right, White Sox Dave, you're on the clock. Like we said, complaints, grievances, peeves, whatever it is.
This is
the grievances
This
draft.
is such an awful spot to pick. I am fucked right off the bat, I think. But I also think that we can all get behind this pick. Is that I fucking hate every politician on the planet, and I'm talking about like politicians who, they like kind of kowtow to their people, even though you know that they don't believe what they're saying. And I'm talking both sides of the aisle, whether it be right or left. I don't give a shit. I hate them all equally, and I hope they all die painful deaths. I mean, that's how that's why I wanted to pick fifth, so I could kind of feel out the process.
That's
right?
not the direction that I
No, I was
thought.
surprised. What do you mean by politicians? Like politics, talking politics?
People who talk politics are the absolute worst right now.
Have you ever voted? I think I know the answer to this. Have you ever voted?
I've
for
voted
anybody?
every year since I could have voted, yeah.
What's that mean?
I mean, you can only vote once you're 18. So,
Oh,
yes.
I heard that. Yeah.
So I've been able to vote in 3 presidential elections, and I've voted in every one of them, yes.
Not in this city. You can vote pretty much whenever. In
Oh,
this
yeah,
city.
that too.
You don't even have to be American.
After you're dead.
But it needs to be more defined. Like, what's your grievance? You can't just say
Yeah.
My
politicians.
grievance is I hate when politicians. Okay, it's gonna be wordy, but I hate when politicians, like you'll hear. I don't want to give specific examples because that'll be a slippery slope. But you hear them say one thing like 3 years earlier, and then they're running and they're just trying to.
How about this, Dave? Let me help you out.
Yeah,
Pandering.
they pander. Thank you, pandering politicians.
That's a big problem on this show.
Pandering politicians.
Pandering politicians is my number, and it seeps into the brains of social media people and users, and it's unavoidable at this point. But a lot of people would like to, if you're watching sports, you're getting smacked in the face with politics, and people want to get away from that kind of shit, and it drives a lot of people that are down the middle politically insane, and I fucking hate them all.
Mr. Portnoy, what do you think about pandering politicians?
I can't think of a politician that doesn't pander.
I know. That's why.
I was trying to think of that.
That's why I said politicians at first, because they all do it, and they all make me equally sick.
Well, you know something? It goes with the territory. It's part of the description. If you're going to be a politician, you got to be able to do that. If you're not going to do that, you're never going to get elected to be dog catcher.
Speak from your heart. Speak from your. I know that's. I don't agree. Nobody agrees with it, but they do it, and it's kind of it's a necessary evil, perhaps, but I hate it at the same time, and I think the general American public hates it.
And yeah, we all sign up to vote for him every 2 years.
It's
You
a
used to
damn
have
shame.
a political show on Sirius XM, right? Mr. Portnoy?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a panderer.
No, but you used to talk politics.
No, I got accused if I said something, I would get it from the left and the right. Everybody hated me.
That's good. That's a good place to be.
It is a good
That's
thing.
a good place to be.
Yeah, well, I don't know about how universal hate is a good place to be. I don't know about that. By the way, I want to say something before it's even my turn. I got to get this in. It's very important. I hate 40-plus-year-old guys who wear tight pants.
I don't know who you could be referring to.
I wanted to make sure I got that in.
Yeah, I don't know who you could be referring to, but
Do you have a landlord
No,
that
I
does
don't
that
know.
or something?
My landlord, people I know
okay. All right.
very well, that I've known their whole life.
All right, pandering politicians is off the board. Nobody else could take it. Dante, you're up.
All right,
Bad
I'm
pick,
gonna
by the
burn it just because I know Chief is he's a smart guy, and I
Thank
think
you.
I think he'd be all over this one if I don't use it now. People that stand when the airplane lands before it gets to the gate And I'm not talking about the people in first class or front row. I'm talking people in the back that are just uncivilized fucking animals that stand up and rush to the front of the plane like they're somehow going to beat everybody else off it.
To save what? 2 minutes?
Dude,
Maybe.
I don't understand.
I hate those people too.
They're the worst.
They are
Absolute
the
worst people in the world.
I think there should be the death penalty for those people.
Could not agree more. Could not agree more, Mr. Portnoy. Like, there should be somebody waiting for when that airplane door opens for the first 10 people that are standing in front of it. Just do.
That's
Now,
I know these people. Where are they going? Most of them don't have jobs. So what's the rush?
Nah.
I
Yeah,
love it. I like
this was
this
a good
guy.
pick. That was a
if
good
you are, let's say you have an aisle seat, are you in your book allowed to stand up as long as you make no progress towards the front of the plane?
Yeah, so I'm an aisle guy, and what I'll do is I'll usually open the overhead bin. I got long arms, like Jean Rondo arms. I can unlock it. So I'll
Can
unlock
I say
it.
something about that?
Yes.
Every time I've stood up like that, and never to cut in front of me, every single time I've done it, though, I hit my head.
Yeah,
I almost knocked
That's
myself
why I don't get up.
out cold a couple times.
That's why I don't get up. That's why I do it sitting
Yeah,
down.
that's a very good suggestion.
Yeah,
I'm going to remember that the next time I'm on a plane.
Yeah.
No
And
more hitting your head, Mr. Portnoy.
Here's
you
No,
gotta keep that
man,
thing safe.
after a while, you get a headache. You
Here's
have
the
to
thing,
get
too.
Out of the aisle.
Here's the thing, too. Like, there's a difference. If you're on a delayed flight, you know that, okay, there's going to be some people that are fucked on a connection. So if those people are, like, rushing to the front and they're, like, mentioning it and apologizing and telling people, like, sorry, we have a flight to miss, that's okay. That's
You
one
think
thing.
they're telling the truth?
Yeah,
If
it's
you're on
true,
a
too.
delayed flight, they are. But I've been on flights that land on time that people do that, and it's like,
No, I
you're full
understand that.
of
But don't
shit.
you think the world being what it is, some people might make that up just so they can get in
Yeah.
ahead?
Yes.
People suck. You're right.
So
That's what
I've
I'm
seen
saying.
that before, and the thing that drives me the most crazy is when those people are like, I gotta go, and you're just like, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, and then you see them waiting at baggage claim. Like
That's what I'm
that,
saying.
I would
when I
strangle
come down after they like ran up the front of the plane, we're like, hey, I gotta go, I got a connection, and then I see them with me at the baggage claim. I kind of feel like they should have to take like a new cross country flight.
I would strangle them.
Yeah,
Strangle.
get back on the plane. You lied.
and when you say you'd strangle him, you really mean you just like think I want to strangle this guy.
Well,
And
I'm
you wouldn't say a word because we're all non-confrontational pussies.
Yes.
It's the truth.
So, but to be clear though, if they don't make an advance, you're okay with it.
I am okay if you have an aisle seat and you don't try to go forward and
Because
you just
people
wanna
make that, they like to stretch out.
Right.
Make that an
I'm okay
excuse.
with it with a stretch as long as you're not trying to like cut. You can't even make 1 inch.
Yeah.
You can't have your big toe
You
over
can't-
into
you
the
can't
row
lean
in front.
in the direction of the exit.
Correct.
What's even crazier to me is like with all the COVID stuff. If you've flown United lately, they do it all in 5-row blocks now. And there are people, so they'll be like rows 1 through 5, which is first class, 5 through 10. There are people that will just totally disregard that from the back and just come up to the front.
Fuck that.
That's like,
Can't do that.
yeah, those are the people that like we need to get rid of. Like,
You
call
know,
the
if you
herd.
think about it, you probably can see the worst in human nature 2 places: on the golf course and on a plane.
Planes for sure. How golf courses?
Well, because if somebody is like
Cheating?
they cheat,
Yeah.
and let's say they hit into you. I'm not a big time golfer, but you see the worst in people. You see a lot of people that they'll say how great they are. Can I play through? And they hit the ball 2 inches because they're out of touch with reality about how bad they are.
Okay, I like that.
I like that too.
All right. People who rush off airplanes when it lands. Chief, you're up.
All right. I'm taking the people that hold the door open for you when you're too far away. So those people, they like try to think that they're doing some great deed. No, you're making me hustle when I had no intention of hustling. It's way easier for me to just open the door. And then you get up to them because now you feel like the social pressure. Hey, that person's holding the door. You have to hustle up. And then you also have to like thank them. As if
Yeah.
they did you a good deed because they did hold you the door, but I didn't ask for them to hold the door in the first place. So the people that have like no, I don't even know how to put this into like a.
You just got to know.
Yeah,
There's no
You
number.
have to have
Yeah.
like spatial relations and just
Yeah.
don't worry about holding the door for me. I got functioning arms, so you just open the door. I'm going through. Leave me alone, and then I do always say thank you, and it drives me crazy because I was like, I hate you right now, but I have to thank you because you held the door open for me. Does that make sense?
I hate what you just said. I want to tell you, I've been holding the door open for people my whole life, and now I know that the person I was holding the door for hates me.
Mr. Portnoy, but if I'm 5 feet behind you, great. Thank you very much. I'll thank you as a nice gesture. If I'm 20 feet and you're holding it, and now I have to do like a light jog to get up to the door to be
The
like
little
courteous.
fake two-step jog.
Yeah. That's what I don't want to do. I want to
20
leisurely.
feet. Anybody that does it at 20 feet is an idiot.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
But I mean, well, okay.
But you've never encountered that where you have to like hustle up a little bit to the door because they're holding it for you?
Don't hustle anyway.
The people have the right thought, though. That's why I have trouble
Yeah,
with
I think that's what I said. I mean, I think he's punishing them for somebody's trying
But
to be
they're punishing me.
a human being.
They're punishing me. I don't want to do a fake jog. I want to walk at my
know
own
what?
pace.
You know what you should do the next time? You say something like, "Stop holding the effing
Fuck
door
you."
for me. I can get there myself." That would cure that, and you would feel great.
Yeah, that's try it at the grocery store maybe later today.
all right, people who hold the door open when you're too far away. It's to me now. I think I have to take this first round because it is the whole. I got to get it at some point. I might as well take it now. It's the whole. This is how Red Ed started. I got to come at Apple. I got to lay out my grievances with Apple about them changing all the ports, Mr. Portnoy. They give you this charger, doesn't plug into this, doesn't plug into that. I'm done with Apple. And
Eddie,
Yeah.
I'm very mad at you.
Why?
Because I have the same freaking thing I was going to say about Apple.
there we go. I had something on the grievances board.
This is a very devious company. They
Yeah.
know what they're doing, and they could give a shit. They want to punish their customers.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Portnoy, you're anti-capitalism.
Yes.
Do you guys want to hear the craziest part? They're going back to the old way.
No. Okay. If
They are.
If they do that, then I'm
They're-
officially with Ed.
Their new MacBook Pros, they announced they're putting USB ports back.
No, they're not. Are they really?
They are because
See?
so many people are pissed off.
Yeah, I
So
think I
me
heard that
with
too.
this fucking thing, with the lightnings and all this, yeah. What the fuck am I gonna do?
Well, that's what I have. We all have that.
All these dongles
Look
and
at-
shit, those are useless
Let-
now.
Let's talk about what the real issue is. The freaking batteries.
Oh,
That's a problem.
They
I
know
just had to get
damn
mine
well.
replaced. It was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Did you ever try to go in and do something about the battery? The first time I did it, I thought I would give them the battery. I'd wait 2 minutes, and it would be recharged or something. No. Like 2 hours. They're going to look at the thing. Then we'll let you know whether there's anything we can do. Oh, by the way, maybe you'd be better off getting an updated Apple 15R or something. And this is what they do. And if you think that's an accident, Steve Jobs is laughing out of his grave.
I agree. I'm telling you, Apple's a bunch of fuckers. That's my whole thing. They keep changing these plug-in ports, and
Yeah,
now
Because they
don't-
know people buy them, Ed.
But Dave, that doesn't mean I can't be upset about it. That doesn't mean I can't have a grievance about it. They're getting rid of the block now, and then they're giving you a different wire that plugs into the block.
Oh, that's absolutely. Eddie, I have new respect for you.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
the only other part of this is you never choose to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's because they still make the best.
Because I like what they make. They don't have did they have to nickel and dime me? Do they have they're the big one of the top 5 companies in America.
the best.
That is.
Maybe you're
A
funding
minute
their
ago, when
R&D.
somebody asked me, am I a capitalist? That is capitalism. They got the best product, and in capitalism, they get very successful.
Yes, that's how Red Ed started. Because I complained about this, and Dave said I'm
Yep.
anti-capital.
Tweet it
So,
out from your iPhone.
I'm communist. So that's what. Yeah. So that's what. But I'm glad Dante agrees.
The best thing that they did that they got rid of, and I think nobody can,
dispute.
is like the magnetic power cord. One of the greatest
Yeah,
inventions.
it was awesome.
Like, how many? Am I the only person that tripped over their power cord and like broke computers growing up?
Oh yeah, that's
All the time.
Yeah.
all
that's
the time.
happened.
That they rendered that
Smart.
impossible.
So all right, Apple changing plug-in ports is my pick. Mr. Portnoy, you're on the clock.
You have 2 picks in a row.
Okay. The first one, bald guys that wear baseball hats. oh, sorry about that. The other one is the Car Shield commercial with Chris Berman. I got in so much trouble a few years ago.
Wait, hold on a second. Are those both your picks, or is the first one a joke?
No, that's what he said. The next one. So the first one is true, right? Bald guys that wear baseball caps.
I was trying to be cute.
Okay, all right, but you want
I'll
that?
take it as my pick.
Okay.
I'm not getting paid if I win. I might.
No.
Yeah,
No.
you are.
All right.
There's a
then it's
cash
okay.
prize at the end.
Wait. So wait. Explain the commercial.
Yeah. You guys haven't seen this?
I don't
Car
think so.
Shield, you know what that is?
No, this
No.
might be
You don't know.
might be a regional.
Yeah, this might be a regional.
This might be
Oh, I don't
1-800-54
think so.
Giant
It-
or something.
yeah. Really, that's amazing to me because they in the Boston area, and this is a national. This is on the networks. Absolutely, this is on CNN and all these cable shows. Car Shield, they're advertising that you buy this contract with them, and if your car breaks down at 250,000 miles, you have a guarantee that they'll come and you can go to your mechanic and get it fixed. They never say how much it costs. But one of their major spokesperson is somebody who I got in trouble a while back because I cannot stand him, Chris Berman. Chris Berman is one of these guys who he has all these catchphrases. Anybody there love Chris Berman?
Not particularly.
No.
I'd say.
Nope.
All right.
You didn't
He
miss
is
him
one
on the
of
home
these
run
people-
derby?
Huh?
You didn't miss him on the home run derby? Back.
Oh, that's a perfect example. He feels that shit that he does with back. And the other thing is rolling into something else he says. He is one of the people, there's a few people on TV that I get up and reach for the clicker. I cannot watch him. I can't stand him. He doesn't realize that all these little sayings that he has, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Go away. Can you ever leave the scene? He can't. These commercials, you people don't see these commercials apparently. They're on cable every 10 minutes. And he's on with some other has-beens, but he's the number one has-been.
So so you don't like Chris Berman in general, but you don't like him particularly in the Car Shield commercials.
I prefer to say I can't stand him, period. But I'll tie it into the commercial.
I kind of like the idea of just Chris Berman being on there.
One last thing. A couple of years ago, I said something negative, similar to what I just said now about Chris Berman. You wouldn't believe
Wow.
the flack I got for that.
Didn't you say
I-
it about someone who had recently died of cancer? Wasn't that about Stuart Scott?
All right, let's move on. Boy, you've been following me a little too close.
I pay attention. I pay attention.
You know
Yeah.
something? That is, I hate to brag. You're talking about Stuart Scott, but the thing about Stuart Scott, and I'm trying to not pander. Let's go back to that. I didn't want to be. I don't know what the right word is. In other words, I've been criticizing Stuart Scott forever for the same reason. He had all these slogans and everything. I can't stand that. Then the son of a gun, he had to die. And I was in a tough spot because people were waiting for me to apologize.
So now
and
you
I
hate him
couldn't
for
do it.
dying. Now you hate him for dying?
I didn't hate him for dying. Well, I kind of did. But I say, the fact that he died, and no, you're young children, I feel badly, but that doesn't negate what I said about him earlier, which I think he stunk as a broadcaster.
I agree with you.
Okay, so Chris Berman and Car Shield commercials.
God, I haven't talked about him in 8 years.
Because what was it? The day after he died, you tweeted, I never liked him or something like that?
It wasn't the day after, it might have been a few days after.
R.I.P. Stuart Scott, never liked him.
He quote tweeted the ESPN tribute video,
Yeah.
being like, "This guy stinks."
Okay.
Whoops.
Do you want to keep that bald guys wear baseball hats, or did you want to do another? I felt like that was a joke, or did you want a new one? Or did
It
you
was
want-
kind of a joke.
Okay, you could do another one then.
All right, thank you. You've been very kind to me, Eddie.
Of course.
You know what else? Do you guys ever go to a supermarket to buy food?
Of course.
Done
Hope
that.
you do.
Yep.
Why don't they have a cash only line for like 5 or 6 items. In other words, that's where you're going to fly through there. You only get 5 or 6 items, and they're only going to, of course, you people don't carry cash anymore. I'm an old guy. I still have some cash on me at all times. If I could go through the line and just pay with cash with 5 items, I'd be out of there in a blink of an eye. So that always bothers me.
Okay, so not cash only, 5 items or less, aisles not existing is your grievance.
That's right. They should. What's the point of having a 5-thing item, or maybe 10 items, and then you can pay with a credit card, or as you people would say, Venmo, whatever the hell that is. And you can give them a credit card, but you can only have 9 items or whatever it is. What's the point? The minute you're going to take that credit card out, anything other than cash, we're talking about slowing the whole thing down, right?
How do you figure? How do you figure that slows it down? Then you got to give them cash. They got to give you change. If you swipe your card, it's one transaction. You're done. It'd be
And you can just tap it now.
Yeah, now you just have to tap it.
No, I'm a cash guy too.
Well, let me amend that a little. That was a good point. I hate to admit it. That was a good point. But I would say exact cash. Exact. You
Wait,
got
to
to know
the
what it's
cent?
going to cost. And you
So
pay
you're
the
carrying like
exact
quarters
amount.
and dimes and pennies in your pockets too?
No, this is taking forever. You're gonna pay $10.68.
What a bunch of picky guys you are. I mean, what?
I'm just asking for a little explanation here.
My explanation is you should have an exact. Do you ever hear exact change anywhere?
No.
You come in with the exact amount and you fly through the line. Period.
I gotta say, Mr. Portnoy, that pick really stinks.
Well, I got tricked into it because I thought I was done.
That's Red Ed for you.
Yeah,
That's
that
Red
is
Ed.
it.
That's how
I'll
he
take
runs it. That's Red Ed.
I'll take the heat, Mr. Portnoy. That one's on me.
All right.
But just so we know, so far on the board for you, we got Chris Berman.
What's that?
Car Shield commercial.
Chris Berman.
Well, that's not my fault that you don't know what that is.
I'm sorry. But just to be clear, we got Chris Berman and Car Shield commercials and cash only on 5.
Are you laughing with me or at me?
No, he's laughing with you.
Sorry.
I don't think so.
What's so funny? I hate Chris Berman too.
We all hate Chris Berman.
I'm glad to hear that.
All right, Eddie, it's on you.
I'm sorry. Cash only, 5 items or less. Checkout. Not existing. I'm sorry. I gotta get together.
Actually, you've done one of these before.
Yeah, Jesus, that'd be professional for one time for me.
All right.
What a hell of a job.
The lack of
sorry,
professionalism
I
out of
apologize.
Red Ed is just astounding right now.
I'm sorry. All right. All right. To me, I'm up. Yeah, I'm done with wacky wedding entrances.
Oh, I hate those two.
Yeah, I hate that.
I do too.
Like the booty bump and whatever. You throw the bouquet up and you dunk it, like shit
Booty
like that.
Dude, I've been to in the last call it 5 years, dozens of weddings, and I think at least 5 of them have had the Bulls, like 96 Bulls, Ray
Yeah.
Clay
Yeah.
entrance.
Yeah.
Like, no, the starting lineup for this wedding. It's like, come on.
Eddie, you gonna make it here?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
What's so funny about grocery stores not having cash only lines for 5 items or less, Ed?
Stop. Please stop.
Aren't you glad you invited me on here?
I am.
I gotta say, I don't think I've ever seen Eddie laugh that hard.
I don't think I have either.
we went to a comedy show last night and he didn't laugh this hard. We went to like one of the most famous comedians in the world. Eddie is laughing harder at this than he did at any point last
It's
night.
so specific. It's so funny. It's super specific.
I don't think you'll ever go through a grocery store checkout line the same ever again.
No, you won't.
No.
Just be giggling to
think so.
himself.
I
It's like,
don't
what's the
think so.
problem?
But yeah, wacky wedding entrances, like just walk in, say hello,
Yeah, introduce the people, walk to your table. Yeah, I'm with you. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I hate that. So
Mr. Portnoy, do you remember when the crazy wedding entrances became a thing? Was that in the 90s? When was that?
Jeez, I don't know.
How did you walk into your wedding?
Say that.
How did you walk
one
into
leg
your-
at a time?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't do what they do now. I mean, I think that is so trite. I mean, that is just, when something, I'm trying to think of, when something like that happens, and then all of a sudden it blows up, don't people realize that you're the 5,000th person that has done this in one form or another? It's over. You got to have some kind of sense of when what's the word? When you've jumped the shark or something.
Yeah.
Okay? And that is clearly an example of jumping the shark. It's too late.
Yep.
I agree.
I agree. I don't really know what you just said, but I can completely agree with you, Mr. Portnoy.
That doesn't bother me in the least that you didn't point.
But yeah, I can't do those no more. We'll just walk in. Chief, you're up.
Okay. Well, this was a little bit further down on my list, but it's relevant now. I had cash only bars as like one of the things that drives me crazy. I went to a place called
Dude, those are the best places though. A lot of times.
like I was at Richards the other night. I went to La Scrolla, then I went to Richards, and it's like I went with all the pit masters from the smokeout.
Okay, that makes sense then. I was like, that doesn't seem like you.
10 of us. Anyways, so I walk into Richards, and you start paying. You're running up a tab, and then you have to go over to the ATM.
Do you know what you're doing right now, by the way?
What?
Blasting Richards.
Yeah.
I
on
love
public-
Richards. I love the cigs inside.
All right.
I wish they let me
I'm
pay.
worried about being
No,
next to you while you're doing this.
I'm worried. I love Richards. I'm
Okay.
worried about paying. Don't like paying with cash, or the
No,
fact that
come on. Cash is the easiest way.
we've already discussed that it's not.
No, it's
Mr.
no,
Portnoy's
no,
up
no,
there.
no. For
You
this it is, though.
Oh, for bars, I
For
guess
bars
you
it
can hand him a
is.
20.
Yes,
but no, it's
exactly.
That's
not, though.
exactly what I was thinking. What are you talking about a minute ago? You say you can't cash, is stupid, and now you said I want a cash bar.
No, I don't want a cash bar. I don't want a cash
I'm
bar.
sorry.
Eddie likes cash bars. Eddie likes to, Eddie wishes he was born the same time as you. Like that's really Eddie's like
I
that.
think
Like,
that's an insult.
no. But
I wish,
Eddie's
yeah.
like an old soul where he just wants to live like how the guys in The Sopranos did, where they're sitting around outside just shooting the shit and smoking cigars and paying for everything in cash.
Well, I got to ask a question here. I'm a little confused. So what do you want to pay? How do you want to pay?
I want to pay
It's
with
not cash, so how do
I
you
want
wanna
to pay with a credit card, and I don't want to be running up a tab, and then they're like, "Hey, you have to go over to the ATM where they're getting you for the fees,
come
and then you
on.
come back to the bar, and then you got to do math." No, I want to just swipe my card and sign my name and fill out the tip and go. I don't want to have to be like shuffling around handling cash. I want the credit card. And
So
bang.
let me ask you this. So where is the machine for you to do that with the card? How do you the bartender give you that?
No, there's usually ATMs inside of cash only bars.
And so here's a little thing.
Strip clubs do this all the time too, by the way.
So
That makes more sense though.
The business that runs cash only and has the ATM, they get part of the ATM fee, I'm pretty sure.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
it's more incentive for them to go cash only. That, and you can play with cash.
Yeah, you don't have
obviously.
to report it.
But with credit cards, say you get one drink and you want to pay a credit card, the bar doesn't make money on that because the credit card company
Get a
takes
fee.
more out. Yeah.
3%.
Is that what it
yeah.
is? 3%? Yeah.
Which
And
adds
then
up.
what happens when you put the damn card in? I don't know about anybody else, but I've had this happen, and the card doesn't work for one reason or another. What then?
Well, I mean, you gotta make sure you're not using a maxed out card, Mr. Portnoy.
I could say that's never happened to me.
Well,
Never. You've never had a card declined?
Well, earlier in my life, if I just didn't have any money, it would get declined. But I don't think that's what he's talking about. He's saying that the machine.
we've all
no,
been
you know
there.
what
We've all
I'm
been
talking
there.
about? You know what I'm talking about? It's dark in this bar. I can't see the damn keyboard or whatever the hell you need. Or I made a mistake. Putting the card. Trust me, I'm very wealthy, so the thing has never been rejected. Maybe it has. I don't know.
I
I'm worried about
disagree.
using a maxed out card, which isn't hardly ever anymore. I just always say, hey, that's a new card. It might not be activated yet. That's my go-to.
You think they ever heard that before?
They can't combat it, though. They
I'm
can't
sure.
dispute it.
That's a good point.
No, you know what they'd say? Get your wallet out and pay with cash.
I think that's like part of like America. Like I love lining up like a couple 20s, and then they just grab it and you just
Yeah,
keep the
yeah.
money on the bar. That's cash bars.
Those are the
great.
best bars. Like
Yes.
Al's Pizza. That's,
And they
that's
just
what they
take
do.
it, and then they'll put a shot glass for, give you a free one, and
Yeah.
they just grab and go. And
Yeah.
I think that's a very easy system.
I love it.
I'd rather pay with a card.
Mr. Portnoy, did you ever get a card declined? And no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
All right.
I'll
Cash
tell
only.
you how I've had cards declined. Hasn't happened very often, but a couple of times there was some problem, not just with my card, but people that had this particular card, and they changed the number on the card, okay? And I still have the physical card in my possession, and I used the old card. I didn't use the new one, and it got declined. And of course, I stand there. I don't know what the hell's going on here because I forgot about all that they changed the number, and it, not happy.
Yeah, I could see that. All right, cash only bars. Dante, you're up.
I got so many. Gonna have to go with people who blast music in public.
Ooh.
And I'm talking about public transportation, people at red lights,
Walking around.
walking around with these fucking Bluetooth things. They're always just, and it's always trash music. That's the thing. It's not like they're walking down the street blasting like Jefferson Starship or something, It's always
I've noticed that it's a lot of younger kids on like bikes that'll have it in their backpack and it'll just be
it's
blasting.
heathens. It's fucking
Well, the people,
menaces to society. It's
I
not
agree.
good people.
Yeah. Well, the people on the bikes, because they don't want to have the headphones in because that's like a safety thing, but they still want the music. But if you choose to ride a bike, you have to be like, well, I don't get to listen to music on my commute.
Agreed.
Like that's like you're choosing that. I don't want to have to listen to something that you're forcing on me. So that's why they do that. But you know who else does this? Is my dad.
No.
Really?
Yeah. Well, he won't we'll be home, but we'll be watching something, watching a game. I'll be at my parents' house, and he'll just pull out his phone or his computer and start watching a YouTube or a video while we have this out, and I'm yeah.
It's like
I'm
people, like Instagram and Snapchat stories, like when the
with the volume on.
it's like,
yeah,
hey,
right, exactly. So
Again, on planes, I've been sitting in front of a person on a plane who just blasts their phone watching TikTok.
you can't do that.
Like, the
No,
whole
that's
plane
against
wants
the
to-
rules.
No, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's against the rules. That's absolutely against the rules. Those people should be shot in the face.
Yeah, so
all right, people who blast music in public, good pick. White Sox Dave.
I'm going with people who reply all to company emails.
good one.
It's the
That is
I
absolute
didn't hear
fucking
that.
worst
And
thing.
what
on
do
earth.
they do to company emails?
Reply all. So I used to work at a company. I mean, the whole company was 10,000 people, but specifically in our Chicago office, we were 2,800 people all in one singular office. And every single day there'd be a company-wide email from our VPs or whatever, and people would be replying to that it was at that point it was a personal conversation, but your phone would just be blowing up, your email would be blowing up because they were treating it basically like an instant message, and it just drove everybody batshit crazy, and they didn't have the societal awareness to just not do that shit. And it drove everybody mad. It fucked up your work day because you're not getting work done because your computer's just flooded with all these emails and you could be missing actually important emails, and those people deserve to get shot in the face.
I completely agree with that. And then the worst version of that person is the office comedian who replies with the shittiest, lamest joke,
Right.
and it just keeps it going because they think they're funny. That is, that's a great pick.
But to me, I feel like this is pretty almost phased out. It's always a mistake if someone does it now.
See, I think that we're so far out now. We've
Yeah,
been doing
really?
this far. I don't
Yeah.
think it happens at Barstool, but
Right.
I think in
Because
the
we're normal
general
people.
office world.
Yes.
I was talking to my buddy. He says it's actually worse because
Really?
during COVID, everybody's remote. So
Makes sense.
You wanted to be communicating more, so more people were doing that. That's what he said, at least. So, but yeah, I think the reply all person that's a very good pick.
They deserve to get shot in the face.
I'm a total moron when it comes to this stuff, and even I've never done that.
There you go.
You don't want to be that guy, Mr. Portnoy. I'll just say that much.
I'm not. Something. Well, this wasn't going to be one of my complaints, but I just thought of it. But when I get to my turn again, if I get a turn, I'm going to relate it to this.
Okay, great.
Hold that thought.
Dave.
All right, Dave.
I'll try.
You're up again.
I'm going with potheads. And I'm not talking about people who smoke weed. I don't give a shit if you smoke weed. I'm talking about potheads, like people who wear like hemp necklaces, greasy hair, tie-dye, like you can smell weed on you. If you live in an apartment building, which was my old apartment building, this one I haven't noticed it at, but my old one, you'd walk in and sometimes like you'd be with people, like you could be with your brother, sister, parents, whatever, and your entire building would just reek of weed because people who are potheads are inconsiderate motherfuckers, and like they'll talk about how weed's the best medicine and like shit like that. I absolutely fucking hate those people and hope they all get shot in the
These
face.
people are kind of cousins with the blast music people. The people
Yeah,
who-
well, yeah, no,
you know,
that's true.
with-
That's very
yeah.
true. That's very true.
Yeah, with the-
You read my mind, Dale.
That is very true now that I think about it.
yeah.
Well, I mean, again, let's hope that nobody sees what we're saying.
Yeah, we're gonna get canceled.
No, wait. But is this like that's a person? You know what I mean? Like, what's your grievance?
I
with,
think that like the smell in your
Like
if
my,
you, if you
my
can-
grievance is that
like weed
like-
culture. Like,
yeah,
don't know,
I guess
like,
that's
yeah,
a way
yeah,
to put it. Like, but pot. It's because there's a difference between someone who just like casually
Yes.
smokes weed,
Right,
and
like
a
you.
fucking pothead.
Yeah.
He loves 3G.
Dave,
I
I
mean-
actually had on my list people that smoke weed in public, like people that just like walk down the street and, like you said, you just,
yeah.
Just
Smell.
smell it.
You know what I
smell.
mean, though? It's going to be like if it's grievances and it's like, oh, just as potheads. Like people would be like, oh, well, we're like what?
Yeah,
exactly?
so maybe you
Like, what's
should.
your-
The grievance is the smell, like people who
It's,
can't control the smell, because that's
uh,
the thing that's most offensive to me about
it's that's just a part of it for like potheads. Just they're people whose whole life revolves around smoking weed.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
them.
Okay.
All right, that's good.
But I'll clarify for a third time. There's a difference between smoking weed and potheads.
Yeah,
Potheads are the fucking worst.
Yeah, people are very sensitive about that. So I
Right.
see what you mean. So you have to clarify that a million times.
Right.
People whose whole life revolves around weed. All right, Dante, back to you.
I am gonna have to go with people who don't use turn signals when they fucking drive.
Those people are fucking Nazis.
I go mental, and I think it's obviously it's a problem everywhere, but I think it's like an epidemic here in the Midwest. Like I don't
Really?
think they teach you guys when you take driving school to use turn signals. No one uses them here, nowhere.
I disagree completely.
Dude.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
People that slow down and they're gonna like merge into the parking lane on the right side of the road never use turn signals. Never let you know you can go around them, so you're on their ass and then you're stuck waiting for them to pull in.
Right.
People that merge on highways, no fucking turn signals ever. It's
that's
unbelievable. It's
implied.
insanity out here. It's insanity.
The worst
My,
part of the
I'm
country
getting
I've
agita
noticed,
just talking about it right now.
isn't New Jersey known for being like bad drivers?
Just
in general?
bad drivers?
I
but
thought New Jersey and Massachusetts were
whole New England,
But
terrible fucking
Dude,
drivers.
What I've noticed is the Phoenix area, they are the worst drivers on the planet.
Oh,
When I
they
was
just
out
go
there for work.
slow out there. They're just like
They
fucking
have
like
were
La La
different
Land.
pace of
unbelievably
life
bad.
out there.
Yeah.
It's pace. Yeah,
Yeah.
They're in like La La Land driving
Right.
around
Well,
out
they
there.
got a lot of retired people out there too.
they would never.
What?
So say you're taking a left on a green light and waiting for traffic to come. They would never creep into the middle of the intersection, and it would
bad.
drive me fucking crazy.
Can't have
It would
that.
drive me insane.
What you said? There's bad drivers by you, Mr. Portnoy.
Oh,
Massachusetts is known
yeah.
for having terrible drivers, and I've been accused of being a terrible driver.
You have?
I hate to.
By who?
I have been accused. I didn't say I admitted it. I've been accused.
That sucks when that happens. By like family and loved ones, when they say you suck at driving, that hurts.
Well, we got a family and/or loved ones.
Okay, not the same.
All right. People who don't use turning signals. All right.
I
Chief.
got something very related to that, and I forgot the other one that was related.
Write them down. Write them down.
No.
Hey, I'm gonna give Mr. Porter. I'm gonna give you a hint. By the way, I'm a Worcester guy, so I know how bad Massachusetts drivers are.
But you're going to appreciate this other one. that
All
I'm
right,
gonna
so
give
listen.
you.
My first snake draft, these guys didn't prepare me. They just told me show up here and this is the subject. They came in, they had notebooks, they had notes, they did research.
That's on you.
Okay. But so I came prepared today. I had
You did.
my
I
notes,
think you've had.
my
I think you've had
computer.
good picks, but I think that last one was. It's a good pick, but I don't think it's as prevalent around here as you make it out to be.
It's fucking terrible. And if you want me to, I'll start driving with one of those dashboard cams, and I will send
doing it?
you
To prove a point.
But you've had-
updates, Ed.
I like that. I like people who prove points.
If you're from Worcester, you're going to be totally familiar with what I'm going
All
to
right,
say.
I'm like on the edge of my seat now.
All right, Chief, you're up.
All right, so I'm going through this currently, but it's when Comcast or your cable provider just removes channels without telling you, but then they charge you the same amount. So I was watching the soccer game and I clicked over. Dave and I had one of our horses was racing, and I went to click on TVG because it's supposed to be on TVG, and they're like, subscription is required to watch TVG. So for the first, I've been watching. I've had this same Comcast. I haven't changed anything about it for 3 years, and I couldn't watch the horse run because they just changed like what my cable package is without telling me. And then all you have to do to get it back for the same price is call up and complain. So I called up. Then it's like, oh, well, I'll get you to the manager. And then you just have to threaten, like, I'm going to YouTube TV. I'm cutting the cord. And then they're like, oh, all of a sudden they give it back to you. So and then I was on the phone with the manager after they give it back to me. I'm like, why did you just make me go through that whole? Why'd you make me say all that? I don't want to switch from cable. Cable is king, but you're forcing my hand. So, and they do that all the time. Like they took away
Classic Comcast.
Cinemax. They took away a couple of
What's
the other.
the one with it's not like HBO or Cinemax or anything. It's
Stars.
no, it's like it's just one channel and they always
Showtime?
it's just one channel and they show like good movies all the time.
Oh,
AMC.
AMC. I don't have AMC anymore for the exact same
Oh,
reason.
that like
and IFC too.
has commercials though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
it's just like-
long. They're
Yeah.
long blocks.
And
too.
IFC, because the IFC plays good movies all the time. I don't have that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? But
Right.
I'm not going to deal with the
You guys,
like
you could have just said Comcast. You know.
yeah.
Well,
They're
I mean,
the worst.
Hey,
Yeah.
Eddie, you ought to have. You could do a whole show on Comcast in Springs, maybe a few shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I mean, you're right. You could have probably simplified it, but I mean, it's a valid complaint.
Yeah, well, I think Comcast is too. I was trying to be specific with it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
this is
Yeah.
the thing I'm dealing with right now.
Yeah.
Or
Comcast
Sunday
is
and
like
Monday.
Apple in
Cable
the fact
pro-
that their
yeah.
product
And
is
I-
just that much better that you'll deal with all the bullshit.
Is it really though?
I think
so.
Comcast is
What
by
do you-
far the best.
What do you guys like about it? Because I'm moving and I can. I
Have
used
you
to live in
ever
a place.
tried RCN?
Well, the
Yeah,
delay.
dude, I just moved from a place where there was the only thing I could have. I tried to get a satellite. I was blocked by a building. I had to get AT&T through the internet because I refused to use Comcast or RCN.
Yeah, RCN's trash.
It's like from the 1980s.
Yeah.
But what is so great about Comcast?
well, if you're using YouTube TV and shit for our job, there's like a big delay.
There's a delay. It's live. The remote's easy. You talk into the remote. You get all the channels that you could ever want. It's easier to navigate, I would say, than I haven't used RCN in a while. But I like the RCN I remember is just like
Oh, it's archaic. It's terrible. It's
You might as well
absolutely
just throw your TV out the window.
Yeah, it's
like
terrible.
it's terrible.
I
So-
have to ask you a question about Comcast. You very casually glossed over the fact that you got to speak to a manager.
yeah.
All right, that is not easy.
No.
No, it is
There's
not.
Let me tell you, you're talking to somebody. I've spent the better part of my life arguing with Comcast. I mean, that's a major.
The
thing
better
that I
part
do.
of your life?
It is a major thing. And you know, a minute ago, I think you just said that you said you're going to switch. I invented that line.
Hold on. Hold on.
I want to tell you, it does no good because they don't give a shit.
They do.
But
That's the second
but-
time I've done that.
let me tell you something. You're talking to the. I am the Babe Ruth of complaining to Comcast. All right. I don't feel I've been successful unless I've gotten a credit of at least $50 as a result of my problem. And I'm telling you, I've got it down to a science. Number one is you got to lose your temper.
Oh yeah.
You got to seem like you're about to kill yourself or somebody at Comcast, that you're within an inch of doing that. And I learned too, and I don't know, I don't want to say this in public, but I'm going to. When they see certain people are calling, they see the number. This is true.
Okay.
When they see the number, if it's a constant complainer like me, they know that somebody else has got to handle this, somebody with a little more experience. And that's what happens. So if you're a constant complainer, you get punished. And I want to say, you talked about a manager. I want to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Did they at one point say that all the managers are busy right now?
They have. Then I'm like, then I want the person above him. Like, you put it right to the top. Yeah.
But they do say that there's only one, or what I always say, a supervisor. There's only one. This is a $1 billion company, and they have one supervisor available to talk. And as soon as that person is free, you can talk to this person. Usually it's an hour later.
Yeah.
And then when that happens, I have my standard line. I said, I never do this, but I do it with them. I'm an attorney. Do you know how much I charge an hour? And I've been waiting for an hour here. You folks owe me $600. And then usually we bargain it down to like I said, $50. But I always get it. So this is my...
You said you're the Babe Ruth. You might be more like Cal Ripken because you just do this every day. You show up to work every day to complain.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
How many times would you say you've called Comcast in your life?
Oh, please. They're on my speed dial.
He said the better part of
He's
his
probably
life.
got a list. Conrad, Amy, Jeremy, of all the names of the people who have given him a hard time.
And I'll tell you something. Once in a while, you get, within the first hour, you'll get to speak to somebody that speaks English. But you have to understand that for the first hour.
Okay, so
they're going to say, Mr. Michael. And then, of course, my next thing, don't call me Mr. Michael, please. Call me either Michael or Mr. Portnoy. I hate Mr. Michael.
Okay.
That's another valid
Duly
complaint.
noted, Mr. Michael.
Hey, Mr. David, I would fucking lose my mind.
All right. So cable providers who eliminate channels without telling you, off the board. This one's to me. I got to go with, you check into a hotel, maybe you got some beverages you want to throw in there, and your hotel fridge is filled with shit. I'm too poor for the hotel fridge shit. I'm not buying the mini bottles when it's full, and then you got to resort to other ice cooling methods for your shit.
This doesn't happen anymore.
Empty beer. This happens. What do you mean,
dude? I would love to go to a hotel and have shit in there now. Now they're always empty because of COVID. It's fucking everything. Everything's a COVID
but that's
excuse now.
a COVID problem. But regardless, I don't. And you lift it up for 45 seconds, and then they charge you. Then you got to call down. It's annoying. It's annoying. I didn't ask for that.
Yeah, it sucks.
I want my. You should be able to. And maybe it's an option if people do like it. But if you don't want, if you want your mini fridge unfull, it should be not full.
I like that.
Do you like your hotel fridge full?
I like the option. I like if you come home really fucking hammered and you need a water because you're gonna die the next day. Not having one in the fridge is like miserable.
So I actually disagree because that's the point where I be like, I'll just pay the $12 for the Evian.
For sure.
Okay, so I would rather have the empty fridge and fill it before. Like, this is like a wedding problem. You go to the wedding, you come
and
back.
that's what I'm really thinking. Go on a casino trip. It's like you want to throw your shit in. Like you go have a few beers. You want to put your beers in there. Like I don't want to like. Then you got nowhere to store it. Then you got to use the tub if you're one of the tub guy. Yeah. Like there's just many ways.
You don't want to be a tub guy either.
There's no way you like the mini bottles, Mr. Portnoy.
What's that?
There's no way you like a full fridge with everything that they charge you.
Yeah. You know something? I haven't used one of those refrigerators maybe in my life. I don't think I ever even. I'm not interested in that. Why can't I just bring a bottle of water up or whatever? I
agree. That's my point. I think that's the best way. So that's mine. Third pick, hotel fridges with shit in them. You're up again, Mr. Portnoy.
All right. Talking about driving. My friend there from Worcester should be familiar with this. There's nothing worse than if you're in an area where you're not familiar, and on the pavement are written arrows to take a left or to go straight, but you're not familiar with the area. So inevitably, what do you think happens? You're in the wrong lane. Because then how are you supposed to see? You don't see these arrows in the cement until you're right there. So those are the people we talked about a minute ago, people taking a left-hand turn when they're not supposed to. I've been guilty of that, and I admit it. Usually, it's because there was those stupid arrows in the road as opposed to something on the light, which you would see from some distance. You don't see, and most of the things around here, my friend from Worcester would know this. Everything's in such disrepair. The arrows, especially at night, you wouldn't even see them.
Yeah.
You would not see them.
Mr. Portnoy, you gotta explain to these guys too. The roads out, we have nice. Everything's in a grid out here. Everything's straight. Some one ways, mostly two ways. Plenty of parking, but everything's like grid system out here. Not even remotely.
This is bedlam here. This is bedlam.
Well, it was they're all like
cow paths,
yeah,
right?
Right.
They're all cow paths that they turn into
It's
roads.
either cow paths or there's tremendous traffic with a bunch of people who are like the people on the plane. I'm trying to tie this in. They want to get off first. They do that when they're in the car on the plane. They got to get ahead of you. And now this is a free one. I'm going to just add this. I don't know if we're almost done. This drives me absolutely nuts.
Bonus?
Nuts. Huh?
We get a bonus one?
Well,
you still got
this
two
is a bonus.
picks.
This is free.
Okay.
Look, I'm an old guy. If the light changes, and inevitably, if I don't move and not in a second, in a tenth of a second, some idiot behind me hits the horn. And now it's become a conundrum for me because sometimes when I'm in back of somebody who doesn't move right away, I don't hit the horn generally. I give them a second to breathe. But now with the damn cell phone, sometimes I think the reason this person's not moving is because they're on the phone.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I have a conundrum. My initial reaction is to give somebody a little extra time. I don't like somebody to beep at me immediately. And I used to wait, but now it's a problem because I know if it's more than just a heartbeat, the chances are they're on the phone talking to Eddie.
Yeah, no, that's a valid conundrum.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't know if they're seriously just like, hey, give them a second. But
Yeah.
if
So,
they're on their
Mr.
phone.
Portnoy, what was your pick? Just arrows in roads?
I think it's traffic patterns.
Wait, what exactly is it? What's the grievance again?
My grievance is I like the one about the people beeping in a tenth of a second if you don't move.
I mean, I'm not even bullshitting you.
All
That's
right.
on my list. You stole that one from me, so
I
I respect that one.
like
big time.
a quick trigger on the horn.
The worst.
Yeah.
People who beep too quickly.
Cabbies love to do that.
People who beep too quickly.
Oh, yeah.
You know
Cab
what it
drivers
is?
love doing that.
And it's starting to trickle down into rideshare drivers like Uber and Lyft because they're all like reformed
They're all
cab
ex-cabbies,
drivers.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you got one more, Mr. Portnoy.
I got one more.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that. Let me see what else I got here. Just give me a sec.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, anybody buy an automobile recently?
I'm actually looking at
In the
one.
market.
I'm in the market.
I bought one like 3 years ago.
I've purchased automobiles through my life a good amount of time. The automobile industry, the retailers, hasn't changed in 50 years. I was looking for a car recently. I went into a dealership. This is unbelievable. The sales the guy comes out. He looks like he's about 15 years old. All right. And this is who they hired. And you know what the first thing he said to me was, I just started yesterday in this job. You think I'm a 74-year-old guy? I bought so many cars I've lost count. You think I want to deal with a 15-year-old kid who's been on the job for less than 24 hours? That's my beef with that.
So is it young people? Is your
Yeah, I would say young people in general.
Just millennials.
I take after my son
Young people. Okay, so grievances with young people who
who
work
don't
at
know what they're doing in the sales area.
young people
in sales?
in sales.
In sales. Thank you.
In car sales, should we be more specific? In car sales. All right, I like that. We got to be specific.
When the salesperson, I'll say person, says to you, I've been on this job for five hours, that's not a good start.
Not what you want. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so it's back to me. I'm gonna go with you go to the deli. Person before you gets a sandwich with a bunch of shit you don't like. He cuts a sandwich. He doesn't wipe down the knife.
Come on, dude.
I'm going with the dirty deli knife. Clean the fucking knife. It's easy.
Eddie,
You're a
would you ever
psycho.
say anything? You ever say anything about that?
No, of course not. I just go with
I knew
it.
you didn't.
Yeah, of course.
I knew you didn't.
Absolutely not.
You're a psycho.
I mean, what kind of delis you going to?
real ones, bro. That where they cut the sandwiches. I know what he's talking
Even,
about.
but even like this. I mean, it happened, throughout your life, and I'm not the first person to bring this up.
I
I've
want to say,
definitely.
is there anybody there, raise your hand, that would say something about that? To the deli, to the people
Gives a
in the
shit.
deli.
Absolutely.
It all comes
No.
off. It all comes off on the bread.
But if you hate mustard and you know that knife was used to cut a ham and cheese with mustard right before you, that wouldn't bother you if you hate mustard.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting a trace
It
amount.
would bother me.
Yeah, I
Thank
think I
you.
think it would bother me
You guys
too.
are
Thank you.
nuts.
Yeah.
You guys are nuts.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want, and it's so bare minimum. You just take
Give it
the
away, little paper
yeah,
towel,
and
little
don't
rag.
clean it off with a dirty rag either.
Yeah.
You want a paper towel?
Jesus, Eddie, the next time that happens, say something, for God's sake.
You'd say something,
will.
right, Mr. Portnoy?
You know, I'm going to surprise you with this answer. I don't speak up when I should. I'm very reticent to do that. I don't say anything.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the most famous thing I ever did was when I first started with Barstool and my show, which should still be on but isn't. I was at a famous place, a fish place, Legal Seafoods. I'm sure my friend from Worcester knows that.
Yeah, I've heard. of it.
Phenomenal.
And I used to love their rice pilaf. The waiter didn't tell me that they didn't have rice pilaf anymore, and he gave me regular rice. To this day, and I didn't say anything. Do you know, and this is a true story, everybody knows this story. I went home, I didn't say a word. I was with somebody who I had just met, was with us. So I didn't want to embarrass myself. I didn't say a word. I went home. For the next week, I complained to my wife. Why didn't I say something about not getting the rice pilaf? Why didn't you tell me? Do you know, she called about 10 days after it happened, and we ended up with a free meal. At Legal
Oh, because
Seafood.
you had in that rice pilaf? You got
What's that?
You got a free meal because you called and complained that they didn't have rice pilaf? I mean, that's a
No,
nice
it wasn't-
restaurant.
No,
right?
you didn't hear what I said.
Okay.
He didn't tell me. I asked for rice pilaf,
Oh.
and he didn't tell me they didn't have it.
And he just
Okay.
sent
So he
out the
just
white
gave me
rice.
regular white rice, which I
Yeah.
don't like.
Yeah.
That's a classic story. That's a classic story. But yeah, the dirty deli knife. Like I said, I'm not the first person to say that before, but I'm very much in line with the people who don't like the dirty deli knife.
I'm
Yep.
intrigued.
Yeah,
now I
you
wish
got that.
Now I wish I had the rice pilaf. It must have been really good.
I like rice pilaf. I don't like white rice. Kill me. What do you want me to say? And I'll tell you something. I don't know why, but I've been there relatively recently, and they do now have rice pilaf.
They brought
Because
it
of
back,
you.
huh?
Back.
Because of you. Just
I
like
don't think it
Milano.
was because of me, but whatever.
Shout out Milano cookies while we're at it too.
The best.
You know that story?
All I know is
No.
if you put those in the freezer, there's nothing
He
better.
ate
Well,
them
he
for 40
doesn't-
years.
he doesn't
and
like
then
'em,
He
though.
woke up one day and he decided he didn't like them.
Why? They're the best cookie going.
The Pepperidge Farm, but I used, like he said, I used to eat the Milanos, but not so much anymore.
He's got
story.
He's got
He ate them
beef
for
with them.
40 years, and then one day he's just like, you know what? I don't like these, and I never liked them. But he ate them for 40 years.
You were eating for breakfast, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't that the
with his
story?
coffee.
That's right. I had 3 of them for breakfast.
And he never liked them.
They're the best. They're just expensive.
Yeah.
That's what sucks.
All right, Chief, you're up.
All right. I got a couple of. I'm trying to decide between 2 different car-related ones. All right. I'll go with people who have intentionally loud cars. Like, you know,
Oh,
like that's
yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
style, and you're sitting at like the stoplight, they just come roaring by, and they like shake the glass of the buildings on the street.
Yeah.
That drives me fucking insane. Like, they invented mufflers because nobody wants to hear your car. And this is, I don't know. I feel like there's like, I know the cars too. Like in my neighborhood, there's like 4 of them that go by pretty regularly that I just
I think we could call this
kinda
white man rage. Someone said he was saying it.
My first car was the 92 Buick Century that exploded. And we didn't take that car up there, but we would go to the Lake Delavan dog tracks every year. My dad and my uncles, my grandpa, blah, blah, blah. And my dad, or myself and my two uncles, we hit a trifecta one night where I was 16 years old, DD and everybody around Lake Geneva area, and I won $700 of my share. It was $2,100 ticket we cashed. So what did I do with it? I put 12-inch subs in the back of that 92 Buick Century, and that thing was so fucking loud. I wish to God I could show you how loud it was, and I look back and I wish I could punch myself in the face for it.
Well, I'm not even talking like that too, but I'm talking about like the people who rev their engines and like, that kind of stuff. So
now you said the people that take their mufflers off.
Yeah.
And like I forget what the word is.
I don't know.
There's
I'm
like
not a
kit
car
or
guy.
something they put on them, and it's
like they do it on purpose.
What do you think?
It's like a look at me thing.
The thing I always wonder about that is like it's definitely for attention, but what's it like driving in that 24/7 anytime you're behind the wheel? Like wouldn't you lose your mind?
I think you would.
I like nice and quiet.
Yeah.
Most people do.
Yeah.
But
You know,
that's a great
some of
pick.
these Japanese cars, when you see them.
Hey, I got a Nissan. You better watch it.
No, I'm going to tell you, some of these Japanese cars, I'll read I'm a real car guy. I love cars. I always have. And I'll read some of the reviews of some of these cars, and it's usually the smaller cars. And they'll have a comment that say you can easily retune this car. In other words, you can put things on it that make it louder and faster. And they're made for that. The manufacturer knows that. The cars are set up that way. It's usually the small Japanese or Korean cars that they do that to.
Those Fast and Furious people.
Yeah.
Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
All right, people of loud cars. That's a good pick. Dante, you're up.
Oof. Doesn't have to be people, right? It can be
No, it could be anything.
anything.
Grief, whatever you get a
All
grievance
right.
with.
The top 10 section on Netflix. It is trash always. There is never anything good in it.
You got to go to the recommended for you because it like takes the algorithm and knows what you like. Like mine's just nothing but fucking documentaries.
Right. So what the fuck is the point of the top 10?
I don't know.
Show you what people are watching. Get
People are
involved with the
not watching
conversation.
all this. It's like trash.
Oh,
though.
yes, they
I
are.
think they are.
At
guarantee
the
you they
bottom
are.
of the barrel, Netflix stuff.
Give me an example of one of these shows that you hate.
Oh, dude, it's always this British shit and like these reality shows no one's ever heard of. These like made for Netflix like reality shows. These tween series. Like
Well, I think it's a lot of kids, man. It's kids who are
It's
jacking up the
garbage.
numbers.
You know what I bet it is though? I bet you that's like a PR, it's a marketing thing. So Netflix probably charges some of these series
Could see that.
to get to into the top 10. You better probably buy your way in there. Same thing with the New York Times bestseller list. They don't. That's like all like a bought and paid for thing.
yeah,
So
you're right.
It's probably that too.
Everything
I would
is.
say.
You're right.
Yeah.
All right, top 10 section on Netflix. White Sox Dave.
On to me.
Yeah.
I'm going with people who bring extra stinky food to the office. And then a lot of times they'll microwave it. Like we had this it was a terrible, it actually closed down in my old office building. We had this terrible Chinese joint underneath our office that people would go to all the time. And they'd bring back like orange chicken and shit like that. And then a couple hours later, they'd get the munchies again after going to smoke weed and be potheads when they shouldn't have been fucking selling freight. And then they put it in the little microwave in the little, the kitchenette in our pod area. And then the rest of the day, you'd smell like shitty orange chicken just ruminating in the air. And I fucking wanted to shoot these guys in the face every single time they do it.
Nice usage of ruminating, Dave.
That was good.
I'm good for that here and there.
Yeah, stinky food anywhere, to be honest.
Yeah.
But office, you can't avoid it. You can't really say anything either because it's people you work with. Except,
And you don't say anything at all. I can see that.
no, I mean, listen. If at Barstool, you could say shit, but like if it's
No, I mean I can I know you a little bit now. You're too nice. I can see you got a problem with being too nice.
Yeah, well,
I mean that.
Sometimes you just gotta bite your tongue,
Not every time.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes it's like the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Where it's like this bothers me, but then I want to have
I just said a little while ago,
Yeah.
I'm not the type of person to say something, and when I don't, later on, like that little example I gave, I regret it.
Yeah. Later on, Mrs. Portnoy, 10 days later, makes the call for you.
Yeah.
Right.
She does your dirty work for you.
It ended well. I got a free meal. I
Yeah.
suppose that's
Yeah.
one way to look at it.
I think I'm just going to start calling Comcast for fun and just arguing just to get some anger out.
Get it out.
I think
You know
I
something?
paid $240
It's good
bucks a month for
practice.
Comcast.
Good
And I watch
practice,
like
yeah.
4 channels.
Yeah.
It's good practice. You're right. I'm
Yeah.
just going to do that. Just call Comcast out of anger.
They've been talking about that going a la carte with these cable companies for a long time, so that you won't have the food channel on there with all this other shit that nobody really wants, and then charge a little less, but it hasn't come to
They
pass.
can't.
Yeah.
They can't. I actually have a blog in the hopper about what a scam this whole cutting the cord thing
Oh, it is. It is because you're just buying as
I got
much,
50 I'm paying more in these
package
services
for sure.
and streaming services than I ever was in
It's
cable.
a big
Yeah.
scam.
The
I
whole-
totally
the whole-
agree. People, we didn't think that through as
We
a
did
nation.
not
And
at
I,
all.
I was there early, being like, "Hey, this doesn't make sense." I remember, like, I agree with you. Like, there's just no way.
I've
been making that argument
We've
for a
never
while,
been
yeah.
duped. Like
Yeah.
we
What
were
about
with this whole
YouTube
thing.
TV?
That's different.
Have people tried that?
Dude, that's the only
Well,
one I
let's
don't
be-
have.
well,
I
let's-
heard it's
let's-
great though.
Yeah.
Let's
well,
keep
that's
going
like a
down.
cable replacement.
White Sox Dave, you got one more.
I'm gonna kind of I'm gonna kind of combine 2 of my last couple picks here. I'm gonna go with people who virtue signal
Ooh.
on the internet. The worst people on the
That's
earth,
a fucking great
and
one.
they deserve to get shot in the face. If you got to go out of the way to prove how fucking morally superior you are on the internet just for the sake of, and they'll never admit it, but it's just for the sake of getting likes and retweets and social media love.
It's social climbing clout.
Yeah, it's social climbing clout. You're all a bunch of
don't know.
fucking
I don't
cocksuckers.
know
You don't
what
believe
is that? I
anything
don't know
you're
what you're
saying.
talking about.
Shut the fuck up. And it was specifically, so I had a wedding 2 or 3 weeks back, and I'm on this kind of crusade where I don't give wedding cards anymore. I just send a Venmo to the bride or groom or
It's
whoever's
Venmo.
whoever's wedding it is. And every single time I've done that, the bride and groom have both appreciate it for one.
Mm-hmm.
But all these losers in my fucking mentions saying I don't have any heart, like it's dishonor to tradition. Go fuck yourselves. And if you wanted to get into it, like all the virtue signaling about all the real world political shit going on these days. Like you don't believe what you're saying. You're just doing it for the social climbing clout on the internet and for other assholes like you to give you love, and you're just a bunch of cocksuckers. I fucking hate you.
Can you explain? I don't understand.
All
I'm
right,
a little
all right.
lost at what you said. Is there something that's they use the word virtue somewhere?
It's virtue signaling. Virtue signaling.
Well, I don't know what that is.
All right, I'll give you an example from. This is like
You got to toe a
it's
fine
toe
line
it,
here.
It's
yeah.
toe it, but
Because of
Because of virtue signalers,
right? Because
right.
of
Just to use a
virtue signal.
barstool example, then.
I don't know how to do a barstool
Okay,
example.
so
there's one like very obvious
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know, but we don't want to get into that.
why do it?
Yeah.
If you want,
I'll
I
say-
don't know what it is.
All right, so I would say that a great example of that virtue signal would be the black square that everyone posted last year.
And people who didn't kind of back it up and stuff like that.
Or it's just like,
Yeah.
you know, like you post the black square to, I don't know, show unity with the black community, but you know, during all the George Floyd stuff. So then people would be like, oh, look at me, I'm so great and post. But that's like the only thing that they would do. They wouldn't do anything
they
to
wouldn't-
actually,
no.
you know,
To
actually,
help
right.
social
so
justice
it's like
and
the minimum thing,
social
and they
awareness.
just did it because everyone else is doing it, but it doesn't really
Right.
do anything. And then, but they still get like those internet pats on the back for it, and without doing anything to really help change a
They
problem.
didn't change a thing, and they didn't change anything in how they approach anything. They just posted a black square. And those peoples are fucking assholes, and they actually, in my opinion, do the opposite of what their like intent on the internet is. It works backwards for them, but they don't even realize it because they're too dumb to realize, like, hey, this doesn't do shit.
You don't have to worry. I've never done that, and you've never heard of it.
Do you have an Instagram?
It's a new generational thing.
Yeah. Do you have an
Yeah,
Instagram,
well,
Mr.
I'm in the
Portnoy?
wrong generation.
Do you have an Instagram, Mr. Portnoy?
I have it because of Barstool, but I don't. Yeah, I'll tell you something. All that stuff, I'm very aware of the fact that I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm bothered by the fact that even things that I say in private, say at home and whatnot, the next thing I know, I see a freaking ad in relation to something I was just talking about.
Mhm.
And I don't have Alexa or any of that crap. But it
That
really gives
is
you
terrifying,
pause.
honestly.
Yeah.
So I'm very careful about where I go because I got a feeling people are listening and watching.
Well, they are.
Through your phone.
We
You're
were
right,
talking.
it's
This
Apple.
is
That
so we
bothers
just
me.
moved into this office and we were setting up this office and I forget what the exact conversation was, but I was talking to Ryan here about batting cages, about how I jokingly wanted to put a batting cage in the new office, and within what was it, a couple minutes, I was
Yeah.
getting Instagram ads about batting cages on Instagram. I didn't
Doesn't
write
that
it.
bother you?
All I said was
Yes.
out loud batting cages, and then I had the ads on Instagram. I
You'll
was
probably
freaked
get
out.
those ads again now.
I probably will. I
Yeah.
probably will. I'll probably have them right now.
Yeah, I mean that scares me. I
That
don't know
scares
the
me.
word.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
scares me.
Yeah.
Someone's watching. Someone's always watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all.
All
It's
right. People
watching.
who virtue signal.
Very
on the internet.
Orwellian, Ed.
It is.
And it's
Good
the
job.
same people that run out of the airport to get out of their seat fast.
Exactly.
I told you that was the number one.
All right,
We keep coming back to it.
Dante, you're up again.
I mean, I was gonna go outrage police, but I think that fits in with what Dave just
Yeah.
said.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm gonna go with people who go the speed limit in the left lane on highways.
Oh yeah, those people deserve to get shot in the face.
It's I just don't understand it.
It's like you don't know how to drive. That's
It-
the passing lane.
people-
You're driving the fucking right side.
Yeah,
of the road.
and it's what's even crazier is if you ever go to Europe, like they really know how to fucking drive over there, and it's nobody is in the left lane unless they're going around people.
Yeah, like
in
the
middle
Autobahn. Yeah.
it's like strictly for passing. And if you sat in the left lane and cruised, I think they would drive you off the road.
So do you think, from personal experience, and this was actually driving in Massachusetts, I drove from Chicago to Boston straight through. It was like 20.
I did it in 16. It's
Yeah,
not fun.
I think I did 8.
done-
It
I've
took
done
me
it
a
to
long
Lowell.
time.
It's not fun.
So I was crossing over like the Berkshire Mountains over that New York border at like 4:30 in the morning. Like the sun came up at like 5:30, and I'm cruising. I'm going 85 miles an hour in the left lane. All you assholes, all the Massachusetts people flying by, riding my ass on the horn. I've been driving for like forever, and I'm getting middle fingers and cussed out as I'm going 85 in the left. 85, I'm fucking flying on the Mass Pike. They don't give a fuck. So I just cruised. I went over one lane, but I think if you're going 85 in the left lane, I think you should be fine, especially at 5 in the morning when the highway's open.
You know where it's worse?
Where?
And I'm from Massachusetts, so I know what's bad. 95 in Florida at night.
Really?
Forget about it.
That
Forget
is
about it.
that is the single worst highway in America.
Yeah.
95. It doesn't matter where you pick it up.
What's so
Yeah,
bad?
you go 85. You go 85 at night on 95, and they'll be passing you like you're standing still.
Really?
Well, that's 95 is the one that goes. I think it starts
In
basically
Maine?
at
the Everglades?
Yeah,
Right.
Boston, and
All
then
the
it
way to
goes down.
Miami.
Like my grandparents, both my sets of grandparents lived in like the coastal Connecticut area where it cuts through there. It's always crazy backup traffic, and then runs down the whole East Coast all the way down to Florida. And if you pick it up in Georgia or Virginia or Connecticut or Massachusetts, it's the worst highway in America.
Damn.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I never heard of the 95.
It's brutal.
I used to send plenty of freight up and down
Up
the 95.
95.
yeah?
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go.
Oh yeah.
And you're part of the problem.
All right, yeah. People, they said they were cracking down on this, and I don't think they have at all. People who drive the speed limit in the left lane. Chief, you're up.
My mom does that.
Does she?
Yeah, drives me nuts. All right, I'll take. I had a few airport ones, but this is one that bothers me. It's people who get on the moving walkway
And don't walk.
and don't walk, and not only do they not walk, but they'll use their luggage and basically block you. You can't get by. So then it's just like a big traffic jam where that is a moving walkway. It says it right, like you're supposed to be walking on this walkway, and they just stand there and just clog it all up, and then you have to hustle. You know how there's that gap? Like there's that little gap where you can get off? Well, then you have to like bust ass and get around them and get in front of them so you're not clogged behind them again on the next moving walkway down the terminal. So that would be people who block the moving walkway.
Good one. You got to give people a path.
Yeah, you have to, if you're
Gotta
not
give people a
walking
path.
because you're, elderly or something, like that's fine. But you have to
Watch it.
Yeah. I was saying that was fine. And I would never call you elderly. So but then you have to just
Don't worry about that.
But then you just have to be like all the way to the right. You have to provide a lane for me to get by you if you're going to not use your feet.
All right, yeah. People who stand says block moving walkway.
Yep.
That's fair. Okay, it's to me my last pick. I hate these. I feel like we're more advanced. We don't need these anymore. You go to a doctor's office. You go to an office in general, and they got these stupid cone cups. What are we doing with the cone cups?
Oh.
I'm done with the cone cups. Give me a real cup that I can set down. I don't want to drink out of that. You taste the paper. I don't like that.
The waxy.
Yes. I have a big grievance. I have a big problem with cone cups.
That's
Fuck cone cups.
That's a good one. It didn't occur to me, until just now with the doctor's office. It was like a blind spot when I was thinking these up. There's a lot at the doctor's office.
Yeah. They're all about cone cups.
Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of different grievances from that whole medical industry experience.
And I actually I was so upset with these one time. I actually read why they exist. And they exist because they want you to drink them and throw them out and not put them down places. But still, it just
seems wasteful.
Yeah. You like the cone cups, Mr. Portnoy?
Why do they gotta be cone shaped?
No,
They're
I
also
never
at golf
really thought
courses.
about it. After a while, don't they start to leak too?
They do.
Yeah.
They're terrible.
Bad paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also use them at golf courses.
Yeah. I'm done with cone cups.
Cone cups are out.
Tired
I
of-
like that one.
All right, Mr. Portnoy, you're up, and it's the last pick of the draft.
All right. You talked about the doctors. Eddie knows I took a pretty bad fall recently. So I ended up in an ambulance, actually going to the hospital. Hospital was very nice. My internist, my son didn't know what an internist was. It's a doctor that
That was
internal
crazy, by the
medicine.
way.
He couldn't understand what an internist was.
Hand up, I've never
I tried
heard
to
the term
explain.
internist.
You were on with me, Eddie, when we had that
Yeah,
problem,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I tried to explain it to him. He never really understood. But anyway, so they fit me in for an unscheduled visit. Fine, I appreciate that. Number one, I want to be with the doctor. I'm sorry. I don't want to do a Zoom with the doctor. All right. I just don't want to do it. So he fit me in. I was telling my tale of woe, and he was listening. You know what he said? I said this at the other time when we were on. At the end of this thing, I was on for about 10 minutes. I took a bad fall, and I was explaining it to him. You know what he said at the end? This is where we live with the doctors now. They're so busy, and they are. He said to me, after he listened to my tale of woe, he said to me, I could go treat some sick people. How do you think that made me feel?
Oof.
That hurt.
Insensitive.
But the real culprit with that is these doctors are not getting paid by the insurance companies unless they show how much time they're spending with each patient, and they're not spending too much time with each patient. That is a real serious problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So should we go with doctors who say they have to treat sick people?
Well, if you just said it that way, it doesn't really tell the whole story. That's what he's supposed to do.
This is slander. That's slander. He's
kidding.
slandering you.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, if someone is sick and the doctor says I gotta treat somebody that's really sick, that's what I'm talking about. But if you want to say it that way, Eddie, and make me look like an idiot, go ahead.
No. How about doctors rushing for billable hours or something like that?
I think that goes the other way too. I remember I had a family member that had a bit of a heart episode, and they would just have doctors come in so they could say on the sheet that they did it. Mm-hmm. So then they could charge when it's like, hey, how you doing? I'm feeling okay. All right. And then it shows up on your bill. Oh, Dr. So-and-so came to your room. Yeah.
That's exactly true. Some especially specialists, if they have another doc come in to assist, that assistant could be there for 15 seconds.
Right.
And they get paid for that. I think we call that a racket.
It is a racket. It's a racket.
So did I get
It's
that
a
right then?
racket.
Doctors rushing for billable hours, or
Well, I mean,
Why don't you just say doctor rackets?
rackets. I like that.
Doctor rackets.
Rackets,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, I'm going to read them all through one more time here, and then we'll talk a little bit, and then we'll end the show.
And we got bonus picks.
Yeah, White Sox Dave, Pandering
Eddie, you
Palace.
told me you only had to come up with 5.
Yeah, no, we're done. This is it.
This is
You misrepresented.
no,
That's a grievance. There's a grievance.
All right.
Eddie, grievance.
White Sox Dave, pandering politicians, people who reply all to company emails, people whose whole lives revolve around weed, people who bring stinky food to office, people who virtue signal on the internet. Dante, people who rush off the airplane when it lands, people who blast music in public, people who don't use turn signals, top 10 section of Netflix, people who drive the speed limit in the left lane. Chief, people who hold the door open when you're too far away, cash-only bars, cable providers who eliminate channels without telling you, people who have loud cars, people that stanch just block on moving walkway. Eddie, Apple changing plug-in ports, wacky wedding entrances, hotel fridges with shit in them, dirty deli knife, cone cups. Mr. Portnoy, Chris Berman and Car Shield commercials, cash only 5 items or less, checkout lines not existing.
Eddie, you gotta stop laughing at everything I say.
I'm sorry.
I'm self-conscious.
I'm sorry. That's just one. Cash only 5 items or less. Checkout lines not existing. It's just unbelievable. People
Number 2 pick.
Number 2 pick. People who beep too quickly. Young people in car sales, and Dr. Rackets.
Dr. Rackets is a good one.
Yeah.
Do you have any more?
Any other ones before we wrap up here?
Are you asking Mr. Portnoy?
Yeah, or anybody really.
I don't like when people recline their airplane seat.
No.
We've
The
talked
pole
about
is
Clapping
off.
when the plane lands, but I didn't want to go there.
I feel like you get when you recline your airplane seat, you get maybe 1% more comfortable, like a very little bit, but the person behind you is like tremendously more inconvenient. So to the point where, like, if you're talking about like in the utilitarian sense, it's like you should just never do that because it hurts the person way more than it helps you.
They shouldn't even let plane seats go down.
Right.
It's
yeah.
It was one of those things where this is crazy. I found a picture from when I flew when I was like 10 years old. I flew by myself, and I don't know why some lady sitting across the aisle back when there were like disposable cameras was like, "You want a picture?" I said, "Sure." I took this picture. It looked like I was flying private. The legroom was like, you couldn't even see the seats in front of me. This is in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I think that was something that was
It's
a
outdated.
90s
Yeah,
thing.
it's
Yeah,
outdated.
where, I'm going to just
Yeah,
lean
if you're
back.
gonna cram an extra 20 seats in there, you have to get rid of
Yeah,
the
no
recliner.
more of this shit.
Any of
Airlines.
you folks been on Spirit?
no.
Yeah.
I have,
Once,
unfortunately.
never again.
That is that usually is you're going to end up with a brawl.
Yeah.
That's usually what starts the brawl on Spirit.
A lot of loud music playing on that plane too.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And a lot of unhappy people who definitely want to be the first ones off the plane.
Oh, yep.
Yep.
All basically.
I like the way we've tied some of this stuff.
yeah,
Yes.
basically a smorgasbord of everything on Spirit Airlines. I got a whole list.
I do too.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Can I just fire them away? I don't even need to speak on them. You
Yeah,
guys are just
do
gonna
that,
agree with
do
mom.
that.
People that ride dirt bikes on streets, people that litter, Instagram influencers, people who forget where they came from. These tripod motorcycles we're seeing everywhere.
Those
now.
are everywhere.
Yeah,
People that walk and text at the same time.
I'm guilty of that.
Uber drivers who sit in fucking silence with no radio on. And the alternative, Uber drivers that never stop fucking talking.
Mm-hmm.
People that went to Harvard because they never let you fucking not know
But they
went
make
to
you
Harvard.
guess it, though. Like,
Yep.
I went to school in Boston.
Outrage police, who I already said I passed on. People who split checks 200 ways.
Ugh.
Speed limit, left lane. And people that don't pick up after the dog when it shits.
Oh, that was
Oh,
on my
that's
list.
bad.
That's an easy
That's
one.
a
Yeah,
very bad one.
That probably should have been drafted because
I mean,
that's like
We could have went 20 rounds in this one.
that's
yeah.
we could have.
Dave anymore?
I had keyboard warriors and specifically people who talk shit to you. Like I'm getting a lot from Yankees fans right now, and they always have like a Garrett Cole or an Aaron Judge profile picture. You're a fucking loser. Show your face, you pussy. And then this one is very particular to me because of where I live, but food trucks and garbage trucks blocking my alley. So my garage where I park my car is underneath my building. And it's like every other day there's a fucking garbage truck or food truck blocking. So I got to go all the way up to Lincoln Avenue and all the way back down south into Lincoln Park It is so fucking
That
annoying.
is annoying.
Yeah.
It takes like 12 extra minutes of my day.
The
Yeah.
maddest I've seen you, maybe in the last 3 months, was when you couldn't get into this parking lot, this office, because there was.
it was-
Oh, I wanted to kill somebody. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a week ago.
You're right.
I wanted to kill somebody.
Right.
I
You
wanted to
came-
fucking kill somebody.
Yeah.
I'm sick of
It
it.
ruined-
It
it ruined
ruins
your
my
day.
day. It
Yeah.
ruins my day.
Yeah.
I've got 2 left. Well, 3. People who read over your shoulder, like that. Just if I'm texting or if somebody looking over my shoulder. This is another like Twitter one where I'll tweet something or I'll write something in a blog and people will be like, oh, so what you're saying is this. I'm like, no, what I'm saying is what I actually said. Don't like try to like put me into the box that you
Put the words in my
right.
mouth,
Put the
yeah.
words in my mouth. I already said the words. Don't try to reorganize them for your own benefit.
Another
Just-
on the internet that made me want to go on full on like just shoot some people in the face was yesterday. I tweeted out like all the draft picks that are contributing to the Sox, and I spelled one of the guys' names wrong. And his name's Sebi Savala, and his last name starts with a Z, and I spelled it with an S. And people kept correcting me like, "Oh, who's that?"
Dude.
Like, "Oh, you meant this."
So
and
can
I'm
I
like,
tell-
"Shut the fuck up, you."
Can I
fucking
tell you
loser."
something? So working at the Cubs, if they miss like an apostrophe or something on somebody's name, there are hundreds
Yeah,
of
that's
losers
stupid.
out
Yeah.
there on the video board that will tweet the @Cubs account like, "Excuse me, this is how the name is supposed to
Yeah.
be spelled." Who the fuck are these people?
Who
I hate
cares?
that. I hate that too.
Yeah.
That autocorrect. I spend more time because of that autocorrect waiting, because I don't want to put up with the nonsense of people correcting the spelling and this and that. It was faster when I used to write things longhand.
Yeah, I have one that's also kind of similar to Mr. Portnoy's second one. I wish that there was, if you're going to use coupons at the grocery store, there should be a whole separate line for you.
That is true.
That like,
I agree with
so you
that.
can save
a good
$2 on
point.
your fucking
Right.
fudgesicles.
I like that.
yeah. So
I
that
gotta
When
like
you
drives
this
me
see
crazy.
somebody, usually a female, go into her pocketbook and start fishing around, and the first thing you'll see is one coupon, then there's another,
Yeah.
then there's another.
And
You know you're in trouble.
You know you got another 15 minutes in that line, and
Yeah.
then it's like someone's behind you, so you're just boxed in. You're just boxed in. You have to wait.
Right.
So there should be a whole
Right.
separate. If you're a coupon person, more power to you. Don't be in my line.
I'm going to roll through mine real quick. 2-door cars, people who open windows on the highway, gas stations where the auto pump doesn't work. You got to stand there and hold it. Plug in your nose to jump in a pool. Paying for parking. Comcast making you hit the HD option. It should always be that. You shouldn't have to hit
Oh,
it.
mine
It's,
does
it's
it.
mostly fixed now, but
yeah,
old
it's
boxes
auto.
would like make
Yeah.
you hit an extra button. It's like, no, I want HD if I have it.
Right.
Styrofoam coolers, they don't fucking work. They always break. And people that go by their middle names.
Don't you
brother-
go by your middle name?
No, I don't.
My brother-in-law does that.
Does he?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
That's a
wow.
brother-in-law
You know what I
move.
mean? That's
I
very,
had one
it's a
that
big
I took
country
off.
move too.
Yeah.
So my phone wasn't working when I went to the smokeout the other day. I was trying to figure it out. I couldn't figure it out, but for some reason I could call. I could do nothing else. I couldn't text. I couldn't go on the internet. So I got T-Mobile on the phone, and I had to use the like automated systems they use, where it's like, "What is your issue? Press 1
Oh
here."
yeah, the automated
Just send me
system.
right to
Oh,
a
boy.
fucking person so I could explain the issue.
Mr. Portnoy's licking his chops.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, that's a killer. There's 9 options.
Yeah,
And we
exactly.
can't
It's
remember.
like, just put me on the phone with a
It goes
fucking
so
person.
Fast. It goes so fast. You got 9 options.
And you forget which one it
forget
is.
which one
Yes.
you wanted.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
If I get to if they start option 3, I hit 0. Because I feel like that a lot of times that'll get you
Yeah,
right
yeah,
to an
yeah.
operator. Yeah.
Not talking to a robot is a big miss by
Yeah.
the whole draft. That should be on the board.
Yeah.
Based on what we've said, what you should realize, and it's so true, you don't think these companies realize this. All the quote unquote customers, they know what's going on. They just don't care.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to good customer service, Mr. Portnoy?
What's that?
What happened to good customer service? It just doesn't exist
It's
anymore.
Got
so
chopped
long,
off
I
of the
don't
balance
remember.
sheet. They whacked it off the balance sheet so they can have their earnings are a little bit better.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Portnoy, thank you very much for joining the
I
show.
enjoyed this.
Good. Good. Oh, now you don't have to call Comcast tonight. You
No,
can-
I might still do it just for practice.
For sport. Yeah.
practice. All right.
For sport.
Thanks again. I'm happy. We've been trying to make this happen for a little bit now, so I'm happy it happened. Dante, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
That's it for today, everybody. Thank you for listening. We'll be back
Nice
tomorrow.
talking to you guys.
That was
see you
great.
around.
Thanks, Mr.
See you,
Portnoy.
Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
Portnoy.
Portnoy.